everyone, this is Karen.
Welcome everybody, I am Shane.
Today we're looking at part 1 of Lithuania,
Europe's best kept secret.
And the vocabulary words are casual.
Casual.
Joe is a casual fan of the show, but his brother knows everything about it.
Boast.
Boast.
The school boasts an experienced staff.
Capital.
Capital.
The country's capital city has a population of around 2.6 million.
Varied.
Varied.
Eating a varied diet is important for staying healthy.
Remaining.
Remaining.
Mandy visited one of the last remaining churches in the area.
Current.
Current.
The form requires me to fill in my current address.
That's right. So we're talking about Europe's best kept secret.
Well, it's not going to be a secret anymore.
Okay, but I have to share with everybody because it's just so beautiful and it's worth visiting.
Yeah.
It's a little country called Lithuania.
Yeah, and I think if you go there, probably most people are going to want to go to Vilnius, right?
That's right, that's the capital.
The capital of Lithuania. And I think the most impressive thing there is probably the architecture.
That's right.
Right? Because it's one of like the remaining oldest old European towns, right? So you can go there and really feel like you've been transported back in time.
Definitely. And it has a lot of culture and it definitely has a lot of history too.
Yeah. It sounds like a really interesting place to visit.
That's right. And I know that if you go to the really high point in Vilnius, you can see or enjoy the view when it's snowing and you can see everything covered up in snow.
Yeah, there's a lot of natural beauty as well.
Exactly.
So architectural beauty, natural beauty. All right,
What more can we ask for?
Let's learn more.
Let's go to Lithuania.
Lithuania, Europe's best-kept secret. Located on the eastern shore of the Baltic Sea is the small, charming country of Lithuania. While casual tourists have likely visited more common European travel spots like England or Italy, determined travelers may enjoy this truly unique place to visit.
Today's lesson is called Lithuania, Europe's best kept secret. Part 1. Hello everyone. My name is Jeff.
And I'm Mike. Yes, so we're off to Europe. This is exciting stuff, and it's even more exciting because we're going to Lithuania, one of the probably less visited countries of Europe, these small Baltic countries over there just past Poland on the edge of Russia, right by the Baltic Sea. Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, lovely places, lovely countries, beautiful people, beautiful scenery, great food. It's going to be great, but bring a jacket. It might be a little cool in that part of the world, but there's going to be some cool stuff we're also going to see.
Definitely bring a jacket because it definitely will be somewhat cold there, and in the winter it will be freezing cold. So okay, let's get started. Located on the eastern shore of the Baltic Sea is the small, charming country of Lithuania. And yes, these countries that Mike mentioned before, they're called the Baltic States or Baltic countries because they're next to the Baltic Sea. It all makes sense.
Absolutely. But yeah, they're a little bit less visited than some of the more well-known and popular countries of Europe. Let's read about this. It says, while casual tourists have likely visited more common European travel spots like England or Italy, determined travelers may enjoy this truly unique place to visit. Sure, if it's your first trip and you're taking an organized tour to Europe, yes, you're probably going to go to England, Italy, France, Spain, somewhere like that. That's what the casual tourists will do. But the really professional tourists, the next level tourists, will go to places like Lithuania or Slovenia or somewhere like that.
You mean hardcore travelers?
Hardcore experienced travelers, not the casual type.
England, Italy? No way. There are major international airports in those places. They're too easy to visit. Let's go to a place that's off the beaten path, like Lithuania. Anyways, if we're talking about a casual person, we're talking about a person who's laid back. They might not dress all that nicely, and they might have a relaxed attitude towards life. Now, if you're talking about a casual tourist here, you're talking about a tourist who's, a run-of-the-mill tourist who wants to go to a place like England or Italy. Nothing special, nothing too stressful. Now, if you are a hardcore traveler, though, you're going to want to go to a place like Lithuania, like I said before. For example, Joe is a casual fan of the show, but his brother knows everything about it. So Joe likes the show, he's seen it, he likes it, but is he a hardcore, serious fan of the show? No. But his brother definitely is. Alright folks, with that, it is time for a break.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。这一次要介绍的旅游景点是立陶宛 （Lithuania）。同学们应该有听过波罗的海三小国吧？也就是指濒临波罗的海的3个国家，分别是立陶宛、爱沙尼亚还有拉脱维亚。那我们就来补充一下 ，Baltic Sea 表示波罗的海，那么 Estonia 表示爱沙尼亚。Latvia 则是指拉脱维亚。那么说到去欧洲旅游，一般随性的游客可能都是去比较普遍的旅游景点，可能像英国啊、意大利等等。而坚定的旅人可能会喜欢造访像是立陶宛这样独具风格的地方。老师们刚刚分别用到 run of the mill和 hardcore 来形容不同类型的旅客。我们来看一下 run of the mill 就是 RUN 连字号 OF 连字号 THE 连字号 MILL。那么这个复合形容词它是形容普普通通的、不特别的。还有用到 hardcore HARD 连字号 CORE。hardcore 可以形容是信念坚定的或是死忠的、热衷的。好，那么老师还有用到off the beaten path， 字面的意思是远离常有人走的路，那就是用来描述它是偏远的、很少有人去的地方。好，那我们再来看课文单字 casual。casual 它是形容词，形容随性的、偶然的，也可以用来形容这个穿着打扮服装是休闲的。那么 Jeff 老师在解释单字时呢，他用到 laid back 这个复合形容词 LAID 连字号 BACK。 laid back 可以形容是悠哉的、悠闲的、轻松惬意的，或者是指懒散的。那我们接着回到课文中。
Lithuania, Europe's best-kept secret. Lithuania boasts a rich cultural history. Humans have been living in the region for nearly 10,000 years, and the first record of Lithuania as a country dates back to the year 1009. Touring the capital city, Vilnius, offers visitors scenes of varied architectural styles built side by side. At the western end of the capital's main street is the country's parliament building, honored as the origin point of Lithuania's independence from the Soviet government.
Okay, Lithuania, off the beaten path. Kind of small, kind of remote, but you know what? Lithuania still boasts a rich cultural history.
Absolutely. That's what our sentence tells us. And when a place boasts something, it's a little bit different than a person boasting. When a person boasts, they speak proudly about themselves, maybe in a way that's kind of showing off and might bother other people. If you know someone who's always talking about how great they are, or smart they are, or good looking they are, they're boasting. But when we talk about a place or a thing boasting something, well, the country can't boast. This place can't talk about how great it is. So we're kind of saying that it has something that's really good and special about it, something that's attractive or interesting, all right? Not in a bad way, like maybe if a person is boasting. We're just saying this is something the country has, probably a lot of, and it's kind of special or unique in that way. Taiwan.
We're proud of it.
We're proud of it, yeah, and it's something you might want to come and check out. Taiwan boasts an amazing number of great night markets, right? It's something that's interesting and unique and attracts people, and it's a good thing about a place. For example, the school boasts an experienced staff. So the school's not talking about how great it is, but if you look at the staff who work there, many of the teachers and other workers, they've been there for a long time, they know their jobs, and they do it well. It's something that they can be proud of and that other people would like. So let's learn about a little bit of the history of Lithuania and see why it boasts this very colorful history. It says humans have been living in the region for nearly 10,000 years. And the first record of Lithuania as a country dates back to the year 1009.
So there you have it. People have been living in this area for more than 10,000 years, and the country itself of Lithuania is over 1,000 years old. What a history. Anyways, touring the capital city, Vilnius, offers visitors scenes of varied architectural styles built side by side. I've heard about this. The architecture there in Vilnius is amazing. Now, before we move on, let's talk about the word capital. A capital city is an important city within a country. Why? Because usually capital cities contain the governments for those countries. Now, you can also have a capital for a province or a state or for a county, but here we're talking about the country of Lithuania. The capital city there, Vilnius, is where the government of Lithuania is situated. For example, the country's capital city has a population of around 2.6 million. Anyways, that's enough for that particular vocabulary word. The next vocabulary word is the adjective varied.
Yes, if something is varied, it's not the same. It's different in different ways. All right, if we talk about things being varied, we're talking about them changing all the time. The weather is varied. Some days it's cool, some days it's rainy, some days it's sunny. We never have weather that's always the same. We also can see that various or vary, the verbs are in there. V-A-R-Y, if things vary, they change all the time. If you talk about various things, you're talking about things that are all kind of different. Here's a good example of this word varied. Eating a varied diet is important for staying healthy. Yeah, eating the same thing all the time, every day, even if it's something that's healthy, is not good if that's the only type of food you eat. You need a varied diet that includes lots of different stuff. So let's learn about some of the varied things that we might find in the capital of Vilnius. It says at the western end of the capital's main street is the country's parliament building, honored as the origin point of Lithuania's independence from the Soviet government. Yes, back during the Cold War, from the late 40s until the late 1980s or early 90s, Lithuania and the other Baltic countries were under the influence of Russia or the Soviet Union at that time. But they had an independence, they got their freedom there in the early 90s, and this all started from the main square right by the Parliament building. So a good place to go to start your tour of Vilnius, and also a good place to go to understand where the modern history of Lithuania really began. But we're going to learn so much more about this great city and great country after this break.
立陶宛拥有丰富的文化历史，那么人类在这个地区生活已经有将近10000年喽。课文就写到说，在它的首都维尔纽斯可以看到各种不同的建筑风格。那么在首都主要街道的西侧底是该国的国会大楼，这个建筑呢，它被誉为是立陶宛脱离苏联政府独立的起点。我们先来看3个单字 ，boast。boast 它本身有夸耀的意思，那在这边它是表达拥有，像是拥有某个值得自豪的东西。再来看 capital 它可以形容是有政府都会大楼的首都的，那么当名词则是指首都。好，我们也常常用来用 这个 capital city 来表达它是首都或是首府的意思。好 ，Jeff 老师提到说，首都是政府机关的所在地。那老师用到 situate 这个动词 situate，situate 表示使什么位于，使什么处于。我们可以用 be situated 什么什么来表达它是位于哪里，坐落于哪里。下一个单字 varied，varied 它是形容各式各样的、形形色色的。那么它的相关词性有 vary，V-A-R-Y， 它表示不同或是呈现差异，或者是变化、变动，它是个动词。还有 various，V-A-R-I-O-U-S，various 则是形容各式各样的、不同的。那这边还有3个重点。第一个，我们要来比较现在完成式和现在完成进行式。好，首先现在完成式它的形式是 have 加上过去分词 PP， 用来表达说某个动作或状态它到现在为止已经持续或是存在了一段时间。好，那么现在完成进行式它的形式是 have been 加上动词 ing， 用来表达说某个动作或是状态它到现在为止已经持续或是存在了一段时间，然后强调说它仍然持续在进行中。那么这2种时态呢，我们都可以用来搭配 for 加一段时间，或是搭配 since 加上过去的时间点的名词或是子句。好，来造2个例句哦。Jenny has been reading the novel for hours. Jenny 看那本小说已经看了好几个小时。那我们这边用现在完成进行式表达说，她现在还在继续看哦，正在看。好，那么 Benny has changed a lot since I last saw him， 表示说，自从我上次见到他以后 ，Benny 他改变了很多。好，第2重点，我们刚刚说到，在首都主要街道的西侧底。就是该国的国会大楼。那其实这句话我们也可以写说，该国的国会大楼是在首都主要街道的西侧底。只是课文呢，它把地方副词片语移到句首，然后用倒装句表达。我们来学这个用法。地方副词片语呢，通常会摆在句尾，但是要强调地点或者是主词它带有比较长的修饰语的话，我们可以把地方副词片语移到句首，然后再把主词和动词进行倒装。以句型来看，原本直述句的句型是主词加动词加地方副词片语。那么我们把地方副词片语移到句首，然后后面再经过倒装之后，这个句型就是地方副词片语加动词加主词。好，举例来说 ，A scary monster lived in the cave， 一只恐怖的怪物住在那个洞穴里。那么地方副词片语 in the cave 移到句首，然后经过倒装之后，就会写作 In the cave lived a scary monster。好，第3个重点 ，be honored as 加上名词，表示以什么样的身份或地位受到表彰表扬。好，例如。Sabrina was honored as Salesperson of the Year. Sabrina 被表扬为年度最佳业务员。好，接回课文中。
Lithuania, Europe's best-kept secret. Within the city limits is Vilnius Old Town, a UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of the largest remaining historic old towns in Europe. It houses the 14th century presidential palace, the current home and office of the Lithuanian president. Take a winter trip to the highest point in Vilnius, the Hill of Three Crosses, and watch the buildings of Old Town get blanketed by fresh snow.
Okay, everyone, we all know now that Lithuania is old, man. It's been around as a country for more than 1,000 years. And you know what? Its capital, Vilnius, is also quite old. Get this. Within the city limits is Vilnius Old Town, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and one of the largest remaining historic old towns in Europe. Yeah, I imagine during World War I and World War II, a lot of these old towns got destroyed, but not Vilnius Old Town. Not Vilnius Old Town. It sticks around to this very day. It remains. It's still there. By the way, here we're saying that it is one of the largest remaining historic old towns. What we're saying is that it still exists. It's still there. For example, Mandy visited one of the last remaining churches in the area. Maybe one of those, maybe that church is going to fall down soon or something like that. But for right now, it's there. It remains.
All right, so what will we see if we visit Vilnius Old Town? Well, some interesting stuff, actually. It says it houses, so Vilnius Old Town, this area of the city, it houses the 14th century presidential palace, the current home and office of the Lithuanian president. Wow, so it's not just kind of a living museum, it's a place where the business of the country goes on. Even today, in fact, the president of Lithuania lives in the old town in the 14th century presidential palace. So the palace, the large house basically where the president lives, was built back in the 1300s. I hope that it's a little bit warmer than it was probably back then. But this shows you just how old the country is. I can't think of another national leader today who would live in a building so old. But that's true. If you become the president of Lithuania, good for you, you will be living in the presidential palace. And the current president lives there now. Current, this adjective just means at the moment, up to date, at this time. So the current president is the president who is president now. It's safe to say that the past president and the future president will still live there, but right now the president, even in 2020, 2021, lives there in the presidential palace. For example, for this adjective current, the form requires me to fill in my current address, all right? Not my address from 2 years ago or the place I grew up, but the place where I live right now, all right?
Usually forms ask for current information.
Sure.
They don't care where you lived 21 years ago. Anyways, though, I digress. The next sentence says, take a winter trip to the highest point in Vilnius, the Hill of Three Crosses, and watch the buildings of Old Town get blanketed by fresh snow. Just take that image in. So beautiful. That's it. I am booking a ticket to Lithuania once we can travel again.
Yes, that's a good point. But yeah, bring that jacket, because if it's being blanketed by fresh snow, that means snow is falling. It can get chilly, but it would probably even be more beautiful if you did go during a nice winter season. All right, that's it for today. We're going to have a lot more about Vilnius tomorrow in our article, so please do come back for that. Until then, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
在市区里呢，有一个古城叫做维尔纽斯旧城，它是联合国教科文组织的世界遗产，也是欧洲现存最大的历史古城之一。好，那边有一座很重要的建筑，就是14世纪的总统府，它是立陶宛总统目前的官邸跟办公室哦。哇，你想象一下，住在有600多年历史的建筑里面，然后还在那边办公，感觉很不可思议吧？好，最后我们来看2个单字。remaining， 它是形容词，形容剩余的、其余的。那么 current， 它是形容当前的。那么 Mike 老师用到 up to date 这个复合形容词，它是拼作 up 连字号 to 连字号 date。up to date 可以用来形容是最新的，像是形容使用最新资讯啊、最新技术的等等。好，那么以上是这个讲解，同学别走开，马上回来哦。
Who can beat me? I train every day. What I eat and drink makes me bigger and stronger. Sumo wrestling started more than 400 years ago. It is Japan's national sport. 2 wrestlers enter a ring. A sumo match starts when both wrestlers' hands are on the ground. The ring is only 4.5 meters wide. We need to push the other fighter out of this ring. Because the ring is small, some sumo matches only last a few seconds. Sumo wrestlers live together in a sumo training stable. We sumo wrestlers live strict lives. We also have to grow our hair long and wear traditional clothes. New wrestlers have to get up at 5 a.m. every day. They also must do chores for older wrestlers. Life as a sumo wrestler is hard, but it's a great honor to be one.
See you next time.